In this video, I want to show you how you can calculate and read your synastry chart with Taeyong to see how he influences you and the type of connection that you could have with him. And Army reached out to me recently asking for help. She did give me permission to use her chart and her experiences for this video. She's having dreams about Taeyong and experiencing synchronicities. She said that he keeps coming around and she's feeling stuck on him. She wants to understand why she can't move on. So I will use her chart as an example for this guy. I will of course keep her identity private and will refer to her as Army. She wanted to know if there's any sort of connection or karma she's experiencing with him that is indicated in the synastry chart. So I'm going to look at their chart to provide her with some insight and explanations that might be able to help her. Let's draw up the charts. I'm using astro.com to draw up the synastry chart. If you already know how to do this or have access to your own software, just skip to the next section. If not, stick with me. Go to astro.com, click on the hamburger menu bar on the left-hand side, click on free horoscopes to expand the options and choose horoscope drawings and data at the bottom. Then choose the second option that says extended chart selection. Click the enter birth data to add birth information for Taeyong. His birthday is December 30th, 1995, and birth time is unknown. And his place of birth is Daegu, South Korea. This website used to allow you to create charts without registering, but it seems like they require you to register now, so just do that, it is free. Then click the Add Plus button here to add your birth data. I will add the Army's birth information here. When you're here at the chart selection page, you want to change the chart type to Synastry Chart 2, which will give you the options to choose 2 charts. We will look at your chart with Taeyong's chart around it, so make sure you are listed as the first person. In my case, Army will be the first chart, then Taeyong will be the second chart. Click Show the Chart. This is the synastry chart between the Army I mentioned and Taeyong. The inner circle is the Army's birth chart with her houses. In your case, it should be your chart. The outer circle is Taeyong's birth chart. The houses are not displayed for his chart because we said his birth time is unknown. And on top here, you can click on the PDF additional tables to bring up the table of aspects. If you scroll to the bottom of this page where it says aspects between both, this shows all the aspects between each of your planets. The information in this table shows how you experience each other and how you feel towards one another. The horizontal planets are your planets and the vertical planets on the side are Taeyong's planets. You don't want to really pay attention to his moon aspects since those are not very accurate without time of birth. So we're gonna ignore this row of aspects. Back to the chart wheel, the symbols in red in the outer circle are Taeyong's planets, and the blue symbols in the inner wheel show your planets. These symbols on the outermost wheel show the zodiac signs the planets are in. As you can see, in order to be able to read the chart, you have to familiarize yourself with a lot of symbols. For now, I'll include symbol charts for your reference as I read this chart. Let's read Army and Taeyong's synastry chart. It's important to understand individual charts to see how each person operates before trying to figure out how they are affected by another person. Right away, I'm noticing Army's moon is conjunct Neptune in her 5th house. I might even say that this is where a lot of her experiences involving Taeyong stems from. Whenever you're trying to understand feelings or experiences that can't be explained through logic or reason, you want to find and understand how Neptune is affecting the chart. Army's moon conjunct Neptune makes her very Neptunian. Her moon and Neptune contact shows the type of experiences her soul is yearning for in order to feed some sort of emotional need. Her moon in Aquarius in the 5th house shows an emotional need to feel special and different. Aquarius moon is radical, chaotic, and conflict-driven. It has a strong need to experience some sort of liberation. The 5th house is related to romance and dating, among other things. Her emotional need is further clarified through her moon opposite Mars. Mars rules her 7th house of partnerships and relationships. This intertwines her emotional needs with her needs in love. Her natal moon is also trine to her natal Venus, so her emotional needs are almost always tied to love and relationships. With Neptune, the emotions seek out the best possible versions of romantic experiences. Neptune has a desire to refine. That's why it's associated with idealism, dreams, and fantasies. You don't get what you see with Neptune. There are always hidden aspects. It's highly probable that Army doesn't really know her own emotional world. What makes her feel secure, what she needs in order to feel nurtured, her emotional motivations and needs are hidden to her with Neptune on her moon. Neptune can show abilities to tune into emotional subtleties, granting psychic or intuitive abilities, but it can also cause emotional confusion and illusions. So considering her love and emotional needs, we have Taeyong's Venus conjunct her moon and Neptune in the synastry. Taeyong's planet of love, affection, and attraction activates her emotional hunger for extraordinary love experiences. His Venus is also trine to her Venus and opposite her Mars. The Venus trine is a really strong pull. It's almost at an exact 0-degree orb. See the number 0 here in the aspect table? The tiny numbers in these boxes next to the aspect symbols show the strength of the planet's interaction. The closer to 0 this number is, the stronger the influence. In synastry, you really want to just look at the aspect within 4 to 5 degrees of orb to focus on the strongest planetary contacts. Anyway, Venus trine Venus can indicate mutual affection and attraction. They have similar love needs and styles. Both love on an intellectual level, the intellectual affection and love experiences with their Venuses in air signs. The commonality of air Venuses means that they will understand one another's expression of love, affection, and needs with ease. The trine shows a very sympathetic, tender, and considerate receptivity they can feel towards one another. A general sense of harmony in the way they relate to each other can be indicated here. What's more is, Taeyong's Venus is opposite her Mars. As mentioned earlier, Mars rules Armin's 7th house, so Mars represents her ideal partner in desire for commitment. Mars is also the planet of passion, drive, and physical energy. It represents physical desire. A contact between Venus and Mars is one of the most attractive and strong aspects in romantic connections. It shows not only sexual attraction, but physical attraction, spark, and compatibility. The masculine or assertive energy of Armin is so attracted to the soft, receptive, and androgynous qualities of Taeyong. And the receptive and tender parts of Taeyong would be attracted to Armin's gestures and the way she asserts herself. But because Mars is also involved in the quincunx aspect with Taeyong's sun, it kind of offsets this attraction. It would add a bit of discomfort and awkwardness to their interaction. Taeyong's Capricorn sun prefers a more subdued and strategic approach to actions and decisions, whereas Armin's Leo Mars's assertion is very expressive and often dramatic. But you can't just take this one aspect at face value, because we have to recognize that Armin's Mars is opposite her Moon and Neptune, which subdues her dramatic flair and assertive expressiveness. Moon and Neptune contact with Mars makes her more gentle and receptive. Also, Taeyong's Capricorn sun is next to his Mars, which is assertive and action-oriented, so his sun can mirror Armin's Mars energy. They would both be energetic and passionate in their approaches, but Taeyong might be more flexible than Armin with his planets in cardinal signs. Armin's Leo Mars and Aquarius Moon Neptune can make her stubborn and inflexible. So you want to be able to look at the details, but also step back and look at the bigger picture to really get the full scope of how everything affects and influences things. Yes, a bit of discomfort or maybe even annoyance can be shown with Taeyong's sun quincunx her Mars, but other influences in their individual charts help them understand one another. And the opposition between his Venus and her Mars is a stronger influence than the quincunx, as quincunx aspect is a minor aspect. So it's not something that would be experienced until a close personal relationship is developed. I'm going to go back to your natal chart and mention a few additional things. Your Venus is part of a T-square pattern involving Jupiter and Uranus. She feels love on a grand scale. She has a need for unique love experiences that are unconventional in some way. There's a tendency to attach higher meaning and purpose with a 9th house Venus square a 12th house Jupiter. With Venus square Uranus, there's also a strong need for detachment, freedom, and autonomy in love. These show contradictions in what she wants. How can you experience special, out-of-this-world spiritual love while remaining detached and independent? Maybe through a parasocial relationship? The appeal of a meaningful connection with a celebrity who's actually not attainable is a good example of how her T-square energy can manifest. It's important to further delve in and ask, why would someone have this type of contradictions in their chart related to their needs in love? What is the chart trying to tell? There are significant feelings related to lack of nourishment and affection in your chart, with your Moon conjunct Neptune and square Mars, and your Sun conjunct Saturn. Sun conjunct Saturn typically shows experiences of being invisible or experiences that make her feel insignificant. These natal indications are important. It shows your subconscious complexes, wounds, fears, and needs as a result. They show why Taeyong's influence means anything to her. Sometimes when people come to me for explanations about their connections to Taeyong or Jungkook, I think they want confirmations about whether they are soulmates or twin flames. But how can I confirm that? Taeyong has millions of fans. He has his own love experiences and relationships. It's true that a chart can show strong attraction. Some charts even show past life resonance or karmic ties, and if I see those, I do mention them, but I would never label what I see in a synastry chart as a twin flame or a soulmate connection. It's really not my place to validate or invalidate someone's place in his life. If you're having difficult times related to sensing special connections with BTS, then I urge you to look within and face yourself and try to figure out what these experiences are trying to tell you about yourself. I think it's important to recognize that delusions and illusions are involved in these sort of connections or feelings, but I also think they have meaning and purpose. In most cases, it will always come down to the individual person and natal chart rather than what's indicated in the connection or a synastry chart. It's not really about the manifestation of a relationship, but more about your own spiritual journey to discovering yourself. Taeyong's Capricorn stellium falls in your 4th house. The 4th house is related to family, home, and foundation. It's associated with a safe place, things that typically provide stability and security. Planets falling here in the synastry shows someone that feels like home. Taeyong really feels like a safe place for her. There's a sense of familiarity and comfort she senses in him. Maybe he represents a strong, sturdy male figure with his Sun and Mars here, while also displaying gentle and nurturing qualities she finds safe with his Venus contacts. And his planets here are contacting her Chiron, the asteroid representing the wounded healer. Taeyong triggers and reflects her wounds related to family and security. He can actually help her face her wounds and vulnerability if she's willing to look within to do the inner work. His Jupiter also conjuncts her IC or the 4th house cusp, strengthening her sense of familiarity towards him. The 4 angles are really important in a chart. The AC or the ascendant, the DC or the descendant, IC and MC. They show strong trigger points. The 4th house is a water house associated with deeply ingrained emotional memories from childhood to even past lives. If Taeyong's Sun was right on her IC, I might have said strong familiar ties from past life. But the Sun is further away. Jupiter is conjunct to the IC, but Jupiter is more of a social planet. It typically amplifies and activates, but it doesn't indicate something significant by itself in synastry, at least in Western astrology. Also, Taeyong's moon is in her 7th house, which shows emotional affinity and feelings of recognition. The moon is a close personal luminary, and its placement in her house of marriage and partnership indicates a desire for unity. We do typically marry people who have moon, sun, and or Venus in our 7th house, but that's not a hard set rule, especially with so many other things to consider. Based on house placements alone, Taeyong's influence on this army is very personal, romantic, and emotional. It's understandable the type of effect he has on her. When we look at the aspects table, they also have some challenging aspects. They will trigger each other's wounds with difficult hits to both of their chirons, but also can help each other towards healing. Mental affinity, the ability to work together and agree on things, would be a challenge with his planets in square, opposite, and quincunx aspects to her Mercury. He will not understand her, rather her ideas and communication can frustrate him. From what I can tell, there aren't strong indications of karma. The south or north nodes aren't showing strong contact to any angles or personal planets. Her north node is square Taeyong's Venus, indicating an attraction and pull, but not a karmic or past life connection. If the south node or the north node was in close conjunctions to AC, DC, IC, or even Venus and other personal planets, then maybe a past life connection or a purpose to complete some sort of cycle might be indicated. I even looked at some minor aspects to see if there were any hidden psychic, telepathic, or spiritual connections, but based on the aspects I look at, I didn't see anything significant. Jupiter on the IC or the stellium of planets in the 4th house alone would not be a strong indication for strong connections. I think her experiences are very personal to her based on my analysis of their synastry. There are definitely strong attractions, but I think Taeyong is a guiding force that can help her understand herself, face her wounds, and recognize her needs. But I can say that her experiences are valid and that she's not crazy. One of my favorite quotes is from Harry Potter, where Harry asks Dumbledore, "Is this real or has this all been happening inside my head?" As to which Dumbledore responds, "Of course it is happening inside your head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean that it is not real?" Something about Taeyong or Jungkook seem to have a stronger influence on some armies where they experience deeper parasocial or spiritual connections. Maybe they were war heroes, I don't know, but I can't deny that there is something there. I will say though that if you are Plutonic, if you have strong Pluto influences in your chart, you're likely to be more drawn to Jungkook. And if you have strong Neptune or Uranus placements in your chart, then you're probably gonna be drawn to Taehyung.